Yo, anger is good, right? And I'm sure tons and tons of people have probably kept telling you to, don't be angry or control your emotions or relax, calm down, right? There's nothing wrong with them telling you to calm down because, again, some people do get out of control when they get angry. But the reason I'm telling you that anger is good is because you're supposed to leverage it, right? You're supposed to use it not just as fuel, but it's a source of power that you can tap into, right? But from your early days, or when you're pretty young, everybody starts telling you, control your anger, control your emotions, right? They start whenever you get angry, there's certain consequences to your actions, right? Now obviously you don't want to be some out of control maniac, but you want to start to channel that anger, right? You really want to allow the anger to flow through you, right? And release it, right? Release that energy through your work, release that energy through the things that you do. I know plenty of times where I've gotten extremely, you know, angry that I just put it into work, right? Or I hated the result of something and I put that energy into work. And because what else is there to do but work, right? That's something that a lot of you need to really, really start to pay attention to, right? Because when it comes to actually going towards the things that you want, right? Let's say, you start to feel extremely stressed, right? And you start feeling all these types of emotions, you start all these different energies start coming to you, right? Other people's feelings start impacting your feelings, right? Things that you're seeing start impacting your feelings and how you're feeling. Well, guess what? You have to do something about it, right? And the best thing to do is work, right? Is put it towards work, right? Work harder. If you're in the gym, use the anger in the gym. If you're literally whatever type of work you're doing, find a way to channel the anger towards it. Even especially if you're an athlete or if you used to be an athlete, I'm sure there are plenty of times where somebody hit you a little too hard and you wanted to go after them, right? And you started playing better, right? Because you're channeling that anger or that frustration that you feel towards that person, right? I'm sure that you can tap into some of the memories that the words that I'm saying right now are probably bringing up for you, right? Like, one of the things that you really, really need to work on is dramatically understanding what is causing certain reactions from you, right? I'm sure you've heard stoicism and all that stuff everywhere, right? This isn't what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is truly understanding what triggers you, right? What starts to force you or to what gets you to lose control, right? What makes you lose control. And then as you figure out those triggers, you can start switching them on by yourself, right? You're flicking that light switch because now, boom, you're tapping into that energy, right? You're tapping into that anger, you're tapping into that frustration, you're tapping into that stress, right? Because believe it or not, the most successful people are the ones that are able to manage the most amount of stress. So imagine how many people get on their nerves. Imagine how many people get them angry on a consistent occasion, right? And, you know, there's a solution for everything, right? And when you learn to really start to channel your energy and channel your anger and channel all of that into the work that you're doing, you'll start to produce way more into the world, right? Let's say somebody beats you at a competition, right? Whatever type of competition it is, right? Now you could sulk, right? You could be a baby about it, and you could say that you're never going to compete again, you're never going to try again, and that this was your last time. Or you're the guy who gets angry that you're in second place. Now you're channeling that anger and you're going harder for the next competition, right? And you're not slowing down, right? You're picking up more momentum, you're speeding up, you're going harder, you're going harder, you're going harder. And it's because you're channeling that anger, right? Every time you bring that memory back of getting second place, it makes you angry that you got second place. So now you're going harder in training. You're training harder, right? If you're playing an instrument, you're practicing longer, right? You're spending more time just mastering that skill set, right? To make sure that you never get second place again. And guess what? You might get second place again. And now that's two times back to back. You got second place. And you're channeling into both memories, right? You're channeling into that the emotion that you felt when they handed you that second place medal, right? Because that's, you didn't want that one, right? And you're able to tap into that. You're able to tap into it and just you're able to just use it as not just fuel, but it becomes a source of motivation. It becomes a source of power. It becomes a source of, it's something that other people won't be able to tap into because it's unique to you, right? When people ask you what fuels you, sometimes you might not even be able to explain it because they might not be able to tap into the same things that you're able to tap into, right? And it's one of those things that, you know, the more you channel that anger, the more you channel the painful emotions, right? It helps you genuinely stop being a loser, right? Because losers, they half-ass everything, right? And when you start to half-ass stuff, right? I'm sure if you've been on a sports field, maybe you didn't run that extra lap, maybe you didn't run the extra mile, maybe you didn't jump that extra fence that you're supposed to jump for track and field, right? Maybe you didn't do that extra lap around the gym, maybe you didn't shoot that extra basket, right? But what if you're the guy that is shooting the extra basket, that is running that extra lap, that is jumping that extra hoop, right? Or that extra fence, right? That guy is going to be miles ahead of that other person because he's channeling his emotions in a different way, right? He's, I need to win this. And, that anger, he probably has so much frustration in him, and that frustration could be coming from literally anywhere, but he's using it to run faster, to run harder, to run longer, and you're just half-assing it, right? And you're wondering, what is he like? How does this guy have so much energy? Where's that energy coming from? Where's what is the motivation, right? And it's because he probably knows exactly what he doesn't want, and what he doesn't want makes him angry, or he knows what he wants, and the fact that he doesn't have what he wants, that makes him angry, right? The fact that you don't have what you want right now should anger you. It should make you want to just break something, right? And the fact that you want to break something is the same energy that you need to now channel and just go to work and get to work and get what needs to get done, right? You need to do what needs to be done. And it's the phrase. This is from Alex Ramosi. He says the doing needs doing. So many people avoid doing what needs doing because they're so stuck on not knowing what to do, even though most of the time you know exactly what to do, right? Some of you probably, procrastinate going to the gym because, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to look like. I don't want people to laugh at me the way I'm working out, blah, blah, blah. You already know how to lose weight. You already know how to gain muscle. Now, you may not be the world's expert, but if you're trying to lose weight, you know that, hey, let me just eat less and work out, right? You want to grow a certain body part. You've probably seen some exercises. You want to grow arms. You probably know what could grow your arms. You want to do legs. You probably know what's good for legs. You want to do a chest. You probably know what's good for your chest, right? So it's those things that you know what to do, but now you're probably just going to the information trap, right? Information overload, seeking information, seeking information, seeking information. And it's like, why? When you know what to do, you already know what to do and it's always going to come down to you doing what needs to be done, right? Sometimes you don't want to walk up to someone, but how else are you going to walk up to someone if you don't walk up to somebody, right? You want to talk to someone, but you don't go up to talk to them. So how else are you going to ever talk to them, right? Now, maybe you wave at them and, you tell them to come to you. Okay, they come to you, right? But you still have to do something in order to make sure that, hey, this interaction happens between that person, right? Let's bring it to the business world. You got emails to write. Well, you still got to do the work. You still got to write those emails. You still got to create that content. And unless you truly internalize that you are the one who needs to do something, how else are things going to get done in your life, right? How else are you going to take action and get things done, right? That's honestly the only way, right? But guess what? You're probably just going to keep searching for information, keep searching for information, keep searching for information. And keep realizing that now you're stuck in the information overload, or you're stuck in that, that loop, right, where you start and then you go back down, and then you start and then you go back down, and then you start and then you go back down, right? That's a trap that you really don't want to fall into, and it's a trap that you don't want to get stuck in, right? And it's always going to come down to you, right? And the same reason why I say anger is good is because once you start tapping in to your emotions and leveraging them, right? Don't suppress them. Don't let the world, tell you like, oh, you shouldn't, you should control your emotions, this and that. Yeah, control your emotions by channeling them into your work. Channel the anger, channel the sadness, right? Channel the frustration, channel the stress, right? Channel all those emotions and put it into your work. Because the guy that's not doing that, well, you're gonna get ahead of him. And believe it or not, it's competition out here, right? It's dog eat dog, and it's the winner takes all, right? And there's a bunch of winners, and those winners are exceptional, right? Something I've been saying recently is, no one will ever truly see how hard you work, but they will see how good you get, right? No one will ever see how hard you work, but they will see how good you get, right? And the more hours you're putting in, the more you're just focused on mastering your craft, right? The more skills that you're trying to master, the more skills that you're trying to get good at, right? The more skills that you're trying to leverage, right? Because now you start learning leadership, you start learning management, right? You start understanding how to speak to people in different ways to get the things that you want. You learn negotiations, right? You're mastering these different skills. You learn sales, you learn marketing, right? And now, guess what? Now you're able to build the things that you want to build, right? Obviously, it's not just about learning about the skill. You actually have to go and get experience, right? Now you're getting experience, right? Level 1, now you're level 2, you're level 3, right? You're doing the side quests, you're doing the side missions, right? And you're leveling up. Now you have better gear, now you have better equipment, right? Guess what? Now you're surpassing these people, right? They're still stuck at level 1, you're at level 2, you're going to level 3, they're still at level 1, you're level 4, you're level 5, they're still at level 1, right? So it's one of those things where the more you start to internalize exactly what I'm saying, right? You're internalizing how to do the things that you want to do, right? You already know what to do for the most part, right? You want a better body, you know what to do, right? You want to make more money, you know what to do more or less, right? Maybe you don't know how to make a crazy amount of money, but you know how to make $1. Okay, now you know how to make 10. Okay, now you learn how to make 100. Okay, now you learn how to make 1,000. Okay, now you learn how to make 10,000. Okay, now you learn how to make 100,000. Okay, and you just keep going, right? And I was doing a Zoom recently, so this was last night or 2 nights ago, Monday night. Yeah, so this was last night, and I was telling a story about how I made, my largest, the most amount of money I ever made in a single day, and it was, for me, it was $17,500, right? And I was telling the story behind that. I was like, yo, I was literally working at Wawa, and Wawa is a deli. It's like a sandwich shop, but it's like a mini grocery store. So, anyways, that's the job I was doing at the time, and this was just for a month period. This isn't like, oh, I've been working here for years, blah blah blah. Nah, it was nothing like that. I literally went into the Wawa because I needed some extra money, so I got the job, and this is November, December, middle November, yeah. So I'm there, and then I didn't even stay there for a month. On week 3 or week 4, they gave me a schedule where it left no time for me to do anything else, right? And this was literally, so I was working 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. and then that was my schedule. 3-4 nights a week I was gonna work 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then for the last week, and the week that I said I'm not doing this, right? I went from, they gave me a schedule 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. Then I would have to come back, I think, at like 8 or 10 a.m., right? So that means I'm barely sleeping because I get home, I leave at 2 a.m. I'll probably get home around 2:30, 2:15, around there, and then, sleep, whatever, right? So 2, 6, 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., right? Go home, come back at like 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. or around there, and work from that time to like 12 noon or 2 p.m. and then come back at 6 again, right? And then literally Tuesday to Friday, that was the schedule. So I was like, are they like, they're out of their mind thinking that I'm gonna do this schedule. So I was like, yeah, I'm never going back. So I didn't even work my fourth week. And then in that same moment, I was so angry and so frustrated, right? That my immediate action was, okay, you know, because I had the business, but I wasn't scaling, right? The business was stagnating, and this was, it's during holidays, so it was a little bit harder to get and sign people because everybody's worried about the holidays. But I was like, okay, I already know what to do. So, boom, I hired like 4 or 5 different appointment setters, and they were on commission based. I already know what to do. So I told them, yo, this is exactly what I need you to do. I need you to do X, Y, and Z. So basically, you know, they were all going and doing outreach to different businesses, the businesses that I wanted them to target. And one of them ended up booking an appointment with a construction company out in Arizona. And then 3 calls later, it was a three call close. All right, so let me slow down because I don't know why I'm talking faster. So it was a 3 call close. First call, completely discovery call. Second call, it was more of I understand what you want, and here are some options and direction that we could go. And then call number 3 was, here's the price and let's sign the contract. So that was a $35,000 contract, and he paid half of it up front for the first 45 days. And when that money came in, dude, I was so afraid of touching that money. I was like, damn, is this real? Right? Um, but, you know, eventually, I called some of the boys. I was like, yo, like, I just did this. Like, there's no way, right? And then, the emotions were just flourishing, right? And what I ended up doing, obviously, I went out to eat. I had a nice dinner. I always like nice dinner, so it's not like, oh, this was my first time having a nice dinner, but I had a really, really nice dinner, right? I love steak and all that stuff, so I enjoyed that dinner, and it was fun. It was fun. I took somebody that was special at the time. I took them there, and we ate. We had our fun, and then I also went to New York, and I did a few different things. Right? I enjoyed the money a little bit, and then I did what I needed to do for the client. But this is to show you that that period of time, I didn't only get angry, but I also went all in, right? The emotions that I got of looking at that schedule, I was like, there's no way that they did that to me, right? That they were expecting me to work that schedule. Now, some people will work that schedule, but me being, the person I am, like, I knew I didn't go to that job to stay. So I knew, I was like, oh, let me do 2 to 3 months here and just, make some cash to pay my employees, because it wasn't even just for me. I just wanted to make sure I could pay the people that were working for me, right? Because what a lot of people don't understand, when you're the business owner, you get paid last most of the time, right? Now, obviously, as you scale, things can change, but in the early days, right, everybody else gets paid way more than you, because some people won't work for free, obviously, right? We would love it if people could just come to us and work for free, and not everybody's willing to work for free. I've worked for free for countless periods of time, but I understand that not everybody's willing to do what it takes, which is fine. And when you really internalize some of this stuff, like that anger, and it just forced me to go all in, to say no, to say, yeah, that's not gonna happen, right? And to just go all in, literally that same week, made the plan, took action on the plan, right? So this is December, January 7th, boom, I signed the client, right? So imagine what could have happened. I could have just been like, man, could have been sulking. I could have been like, man, now I gotta work this crazy schedule, and I do it, and I'd be out of energy, and then guess what? It's just be a downward spiral, right? But that anger, I internalized it and I put it to use, right? Now, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying, right? Because a huge portion of all this stuff is, I mentioned this in the last video, right? There's an inner bitch inside of all of you that stops you from changing your life, right? I'm pretty sure you have countless conflicts and countless conversations with yourself, but the inner bitch inside of you wins, right? You let him win. He tells you not to go to the gym, right? He tells you to not do that extra mile. He tells you not to jump that extra fence, right? He tells you not to shoot that extra basket. He tells you not to go up and talk to that girl, right? He tells you not to lift that extra weight. right? He tells you not to do that extra workout, right? You have to start winning those arguments. And the way you win those arguments is by just going and taking action and just making things happen, right? Because again, no one will ever truly see how hard you work, but they will see how good you get, right? They will see how good you get, right? Because the goal is becoming exceptional, right? Money, mind, body, right? Like you you have to become exceptional at any cost, because believe it or not, somebody else is competing for your exact same goals, right? And imagine that if they get to them first, you will never touch those goals again. You will never be able to enjoy the fruits of that labor because they beat you to your goals. Imagine, imagine all the time you spent going after that goal and you let that guy beat you. So now you're not able to get those goals ever again, right? And you have to settle, and you're not able to go at, you're just not, there's no matter what you do, you will never be able to attain those goals because they got there before you, right? So that's it for this one, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe, drop your comments down below, and feel free to message me on Instagram. See you guys on the next one.